The Second Amendment and gun control are among the most debated and controversial issues in our country. Both gun control groups and gun rights groups have made convincing arguments for their respective positions. Specifically, the issue many courts are facing today is whether the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms includes the rights to bear arms in public. Through District of Columbia v. Heller and McDonald v. City of Chicago, the Supreme Court established that the right to keep and bear arms for self-defense is a fundamental right. However, the Supreme Court to date has yet to clearly state that this right extends beyond the home. There are currently cases that have been appealed to the Supreme Court that pose a specific question to the court. Whether or not the court will hear the cases has yet to be determined. Nonetheless, we have examined the issue and will attempt to predict how the court will rule if in fact it does decide to hear one of these cases. Applying the precedent established in Heller and McDonald, as well as applying a constitutional fundamental right analysis to this issue, we believe that the court would expand on these cases and extend the scope of the Second Amendment to include the right to keep and bear arms in public as a fundamental right. We have reached this conclusion based on the following. The first step in a fundamental rights analysis is to determine whether a fundamental right is at issue. To answer this question, we look to Heller and McDonald. Through these cases, the Supreme Court incorporated the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms in the home as a fundamental right through the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Therefore, a fundamental right is at issue. The second step in the analysis asks whether or not this right has been recognized by the court. The court has recognized it as a fundamental right within the home, but has yet to clearly establish that this right extends to the public realm. Since the court has not recognized this right, the third step is to argue that the right should be recognized and protected. The Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms is deeply rooted in our nation's history and tradition. This is evident through statements made by several of our founding fathers indicating that the right extends beyond the home. In colonial times, there were laws that required citizens to be armed in public. Furthermore, the right to self-defense is renowned throughout our nation's history. Therefore, the right is implicit in the concept of ordered liberty. No evidence has been presented that extending the scope of the Second Amendment to include the right to keep and bear arms in public will harm any particular group. Based on this analysis, we believe that the Supreme Court will accept the arguments made in favor of recognizing the right to keep and bear arms in public as a fundamental right. As a result, any future laws restricting the right to keep and bear arms, whether it be in the home or in public, will be analyzed under strict scrutiny principles.